everybody that's on Zoom, and let's see if they can hear you.
Hello, Tube.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, you're talking to start here.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me press. I'm going to press record on this, and everybody, all the participants on Zoom will save this, just because. And if there's any issues.
The recording has stopped.
Ooh.
What was that?
This meeting is being recorded.
Lying, Dave's throwing you a curveball.
What else?
All right.
Right, we got.
Echoesville.
Yeah. All right, then. How are we doing? I'm going to need to go on to Zoom as well, to Tube then as well, and get the chat. Yes, you may notice I have got some gigs on. I finally decided to get my eye windows fixed up, so I can't see. I'm making terrible, embarrassing mistakes trying to see without the windows. And I've looked back on some of my posts and thought, wow, yes, it's time. It's time to improve.
Once you start, you can't stop.
Hello.
Yeah.
Once you start with glasses, that's it.
I know, yeah, your eyes depend on them. And I'm on number one at the minute. They're just standard £10 glasses from a shop barn that I thought I'd try, and it instantly improved. I went from 0.5, 1.5. Number 2 blinded me. I was like, great, I'm not that blind then, so. Another 20 years. Lisa's in Tube then. Hello, Lisa. What?
Hi, Lisa. Lisa, hello.
Hello, Lisa.
Superwoman.
Have you boys got anything you want to broach, say, talk about? Yeah, you can kick off. We're not here to talk at you. We'll talk together. So, Anders, Barney, Kevin, I, Albert, Claudio, and who is it? Who's on Claudio?
I haven't got anything particular at the moment. Most of the people heard it last night.
Questions, comments, anything you want, YouTube, Zoom, we'll take you both on.
I hope that you know that COVID Marshall, that is a joke video.
Where is COVID Marshall joke video, Anders?
Oh, it's both on the .com and on the Telegram. I've been putting it up there. No, it's only on the .com, I think.
Okay then. Yeah, no problem.
It's on Instagram. So I actually thought it was real, you know, but then I realized this must be a fucking joke.
We get that a lot.
Well,
I've seen it.
on YouTube.
Did any of you manage to see the Universal Disclosure 2020 HD 3D that I posted around the media portals? And have you got any feedback on that with regards to what they have talked about?
I have.
Yeah, fire away. Andy.
Everything is starting just like the Fox saga, and I'm sorry to say that again, but it's the same picture, you know, it's the same story.
It's very similar. You've got Egyptian, you've got the guiding star of Ra, you've got the Magi following the star. Stars don't come down and they don't guide you anywhere. That's obviously a floating light thing of olden Bethlehem, Nazarene time. So it doesn't from that 45-minute video of the Universal 2020 disclosure that we've posted, and I'll put a link into the chat in a minute for those that haven't seen it. it's 45 minutes. It doesn't fully encapsulate all of the Bock saga. It has certain connotations leaning towards the thesis. I don't know the what do we call it then? The historical timelines of which we call mythos, mythology is actually truth, isn't it? And history is more bullshit than we know. So literally bull shizen, yes. And yeah, I want to hear your feedback on that, and I'm going to put the link into the room for those that haven't managed to catch it. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that it doesn't, and it does. The calendars, the times, the golden age. Or could you tell me what you think it does? How it resembles or represents some of the Bock saga anders?
Oh, it just did the start with the eye pole. That's the pole in the middle.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's all these dimensions, all the layers of it. Coming out, and then, yeah, I just see it like they are a match.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to try something. I might get a bit of echo. How does that sound? Okay. I've just realised Zoom's telling me if I mute the button, the video, then it will record without audio. So I've got an issue with the laptop camera. It's got a driver conflict, so the mic's working, the camera isn't. So I've got a mobile set up on the same chat, but I'm already on the laptop with the mic and the speakers. So well, that's the best I can do. Is it still good? All right, we'll carry on. Here comes the link for the video.
Okay. Hello, brothers.
Wow.
Hey.
You made it.
You made it. Hey, hey. How you guys doing? You all good?
All good, thank you.
Where we got? Sorry, I'm a bit late. I got tied up with a couple of things. Disconnect. Stop there. Let's start the show. Okay. Hey, there I am. Oops, second. I'm in the dark.
I'll just put a link in to the. So you can watch that later.
Okay.
Universal disclosure. That's what I'm on about.
Universal disclosure.
Yeah, video that Dave put up early this morning, I think, late last night, if you'd rather.
Is that link we sent through? From Norse?
That's the YouTube video with the universal disclosure, the cosmic egg, and blue mandala, golden age, calendars, and times. It's very hard to emulate on a 2D screen, even though it's a 3D video and the animations that they've done. But you'll need to watch it a couple of times, I would imagine, and make notes, compare it to what you've already got, you know, in your acumen and what we've discovered, and then we have another chat once we're all up to speed with it.
That's a Thompson, yeah. Yeah, see that wasn't good old one, that one.
No, it's not. It's 2 years old, and it's called 2020 HD Vision, but they did one, I think, in 2008 that you're on about, where the first premise of the cosmic egg and the golden age and the Mayans, Aztec, Incas, Egyptians, and the calendars, well, even from Zoroaster all the way up, timelines, master root races. It's got redone 2 years ago, Linda.
Okay.
And that's what I've sent you.
When did come, good you talked it in something I saw today. When Columbus discovered America?
Last Thursday.
Well, not that he did, but anyway, you know what they say he did.
I don't think he did.
No, we know he didn't, but you know what?
He's got the CC, isn't he? The 33.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. That sailing on the seas.
That's always
Yeah.
a good dodgy.
And there's a few missionary churches built before he even arrived. That's the funniest thing I laughed at, because we had to talk about that, and we were, you know, if the Spanish were there first, and they called the Spanish cowboys, who knows what they called? They're called, what are they called? Sorry? Hello?
I can't remember.
Hello?
That's the Spanish soldiers.
Yeah.
There's a special name for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name of those in Argentina.
They were called, what are they called? Vaqueros or something like that.
Vaqueros.
Vaqueros, yeah. Now, what was getting to me was, you know, I was looking at the dates and the population growth of America, and, you know, looking at the dates, they just didn't seem to have this add up. And with the language, because, you know, we go on about languages. Now, if there were just Spanish people there from the start, where did the American language come in from? That's what I'd like to know. Because normally if a nationality changes a language, that's either down to being forced, where they do it in certain countries where they force a nation or nationality, they force them to learn another language, or it's down to the majority of people that speak one language and are living there, that the others would conform to that language. But if there was mainly Spanish people in America, where did the American language come from if you look at the various states? How did they all start speaking American? Because that would have to be the dominating language in order for everyone to start speaking American. You had French Huguenots, you had English people there, you had Spanish people there, you had from all sorts. I don't recall in history them being forced to speak American in the schools that started. But how did they all start speaking American? Just a curious one. Sorry?
It's plain English.
It's plain English.
Yeah.
Plain
American.
Of course, American language is plain English. I know.
Yeah, but like,
Well, in answer to that, as we're oh dear.
how many days have we got in the room there? It sounds like 10. Echo.
Right. It's a test run.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, because even the Irish immigrants in New York still have the Irish twang and accent after how many years? Hundreds of years?
Do it this way. May I speak? Now without echoing? I've sorted it. The Zoom video will not be used, what we've got here with us all on the panel. We can't do this until I get my camera fixed, because I've had to mute the laptop, so now I think the recording will be silent, but Tube has got the audio to this, but none of your faces or anything. So your audio will be broadcast onto Tube, and then the video, I'll delete this, and then New Year we'll get all the systems sorted out. I'll fix my camera. Just got another laptop, and but anyway, Americans, how did they populate when they colonized the lands? How did they populate? It wasn't just British that went over, so I'd say it's a mismatch of the influx of migration, and then it's like New York you say Washington, northern states down to the southern states, and the difference in the accents that they have. It's we couldn't. It's like England then. Why is England got? How come we've got Scotland up there and we've got London down there? And everything in between is like Geordie, Manchester, Liverpool, London. So you have southern and northern, and why do you have all of the? It's a very good question, but the American is an overall sound, isn't it? The Irish.
But the Welsh haven't lost
the Irish,
the Welsh haven't lost the accent. The Scots haven't lost their accent. Where did the American accent come from? If that wasn't the dominating accent.
But Ireland, yeah, and I've added a new one, making life hard. But Ireland, Wales, and Scotland are just one union, if you like, yes, and they have their like Italy would have northern Italy to southern Italy, different. It's the same language, but they have different dialects. So with the translations and words, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Italy, anywhere you have the same language, but you have different dialects within that. So. Going back to your original point, I don't know how the Americans got their American twang. I'm not wondering, why is this bothering you? Why is it a question? Is it just something that you thought?
Well, it's just, with everything that we've been taught, it's like, how could that accent be dominating
what does YouTube say?
Spoken language, I should call it, of the Americas, if it was dominated by Spanish in the beginning. I'd say there was more Spanish than anything else.
They took our dirt.
In order for something to be dominated, it's either going to be forced or you're going to have more of the one speaking population than any of the others. Because even in, say, you can't say, you got so many immigrants or whatever coming to the country. Then it will change because, hang on, you got millions of people that go to Portugal, they don't start speaking English all of a sudden or French or something.
Yeah, but they don't live there.
But
they don't live there and they don't get to stay there long enough. They're there for 2 weeks, aren't they? But you see,
okay, well, look at the
can I finish?
Irish Americans. They haven't lost their accent. They're living in America. They still speak with an Irish accent, and that's been after hundreds of years.
Yeah, people go to.
I have to correct one thing here. It was not the Spanish or the Portuguese that was discovering America.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Vikings, and it was Leif Erikson. He was the first one. They have a script.
But he didn't speak American English either.
No, he did not.
So then how did that language come about? That's the odd thing I find very odd.
Can we pin this, with all due respect, can we pin this to just for a minute? Let's, I don't know if you can see YouTube, but we've got, I'm streaming to YouTube as well as having this Zoom chat, so we'll let the YouTube put some commentary in there. I've noticed a comment from a brother there called Alan that wanted to know, asked how everybody was, and he said he would be a lot better with some straight talk, getting to the bottom of the problem and accessing our estates. So while we're thinking about accents, America, migration, influx, and Vikings and Cook, Columbus, etc., I'd like to get to some meat on the bones, if we want, with all due respect. We'll come back to it, but. He's obviously missed that we are trying to move into the private, as we said in January, and I said last year, the last year it will be, and we didn't actually in 2019 manage to slip into the private. I thought the meeting with the master at the Chancery Rolls building there, the business administration, equitable courts on Fetter Lane in the inner city, London, the judge said, you're at the wrong court. So he didn't say no, he didn't say what you on about, he just said not from me. So with respect to Alan, that was the 3rd of the 11th 2019 when I had that, and January came around and Kevin and I was reflecting on how big the year was, case law being made, DWP, controversies, and I professed that this year it's going to be a big year and it's going to be the last year. It's on the channel in the videos, and we've moved forward with documents, proclamations, evidence of life, which is a lawful alternative to legal ID, and it's basically your way of proving that you are incarnate, you are not persona, you are not a person, you are not a legal entity, you're not in a law society, you're not a solicitor, you're not a boat rowman. Okay, we're not just, we are men, women of a private, common law and an Abrahamic law, which is, you've seen my posts and my writings and the publications, that'll be explained later with the documents that are coming. So Alan, nobody's come to help. Well, they have. All you have come to help, but nobody's come to offer. When I say help, nobody's come to say, Dave, come over here. I've got something to show you. That hasn't happened. What we've got is content creators, channel creators coming in, taking stuff, moving it away, much like the universal disclosure, the cosmic egg, and making out it's their own work, profiting from it, monetizing their channel, making publications, and not naming the originators that made the work. So it's been a freaking long, hard, tiring, confusing slog. And what we've come to the realization is that we've all got a legal person. We speak the common tongue, which isn't the common tongue, it's actually legalese. And we've got various unalienable rights invested in us at the point of, which are non-transferable. You can't sell them, you can't have them stripped from you. You can give them away though, and you can submit them by volunteering and submitting a form, signing without liability. So what we've got to give to you, Alan, is that the estates, I don't really give a shit about, to be fair. What I do care about is being in the private and having no public legal liabilities as a public trustee with legal possessory title. It's not about getting access to the estate for me. It may be for you and others. It may be the way that the current consciousness is focused. We don't need the pot of gold to be in the private. Back to the tree of life rather than the tree of knowledge, to get the equitable relief is what we're after. To not be able to have to be forced to be compelled to be under contract, non-disclosed, to give sweat equity, which is the central bank's Bank of England for us over here on Britain, and we won't have to deal with that. We'll have our own ways, intrinsic value, not just bits of paper with numbers on, and we're doing that on the 21st of December 2020. And if anybody wants to get access to pots of gold and estates instead of moving to the private, then I'm afraid you're with the wrong team and you need to keep looking. What we are interested in is getting our land from the National Trust and letting the House of God, which is the Vatican, I'm not saying he's the true House of God, but that's known as the Roman Catholic House of God, which is the papacy, the Romanus Pontifex, the lead and buller, the man at the top of the tree. And we're going to communicate. We've got ecclesiastical deed polls, quantum grammar, ways to get out using languages, Bibles, international law, trust and equity, and we will be in the private, and we will get our land. As for gold, TDA accounts, I don't care, just to be in the private. If we can get that, we will. It's not that we're going to throw it away. We're not throwing Babby out with bathwater, but does that help? Expand, comments and input, anybody please. Tumbleweeds.
No, sounds good to me, brother. Yeah, it sounds good to me. That's good enough to be in the private, mate. To not have that public liability. That's what we want. That's what we want to get rid of, and just to be left alone, really.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, it's not about the TDAs and all that. If indeed that's accessible, still yet to find anybody got a permanent answer to that. Been looking at that for a long time. It's not about the money. You're definitely in the wrong place if that's what you're looking for. It's not the intention of SPLS private at all. That's secondary. If at all, the primary objective is private.
How did we add something in here, Dave? Can we add anything in here?
You asked this last week, I think. No, that's why we created a Telegram group for you to add it in there, yeah? Yeah, that's how it goes.
can't send in here, can I? Sorry. Hang on, I'll send it separately. Hello? Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we all stuck in that system, aren't we? For now.
Well,
that's what the system's going to change.
What is it that it's quoted there? The codes coming out of Westminster are mandated upon the legal codes and statutory, the 60 million statutory codes that come out of Westminster are mandated upon your person by default. So we are in a presumptive, assumptive realm. And to back that up, one example would be if you don't speak up and claim something, it will be claimed for you. Now I'm going to use quite a stark contrasting example here. If you haven't opted out of the National Organ Donation Registrar, then you're all, and I am all, our persons, not man, but they are our organs, our biological estate is the first estate of which from the zygote point of inception in the belly of mum is where that estate starts to be built, and nothing to do with the crown, nothing to do with the papacy, nothing to do with the banks, nothing to do with anything other than the universal forces, mum and dad, bedroom dance, inception, estate is there. So that's our estate, nobody else's, but the legal system gets its pins and hooks in it, and it's the way that it is. So we have to now recognise that they've been very crafty with what they've done, and we look at the estate, same for inoculations, vaccinations. Land is an estate. When you surmise from the Bible stories, the world's greatest story there, whichever version you want to go through, generally man is made from the land, Adama, and we've gone through all the words and that's why you've got the land registry, land tenure, 1066 Doomsday book and so forth, and the collections of the Vatican with the master register. They've got the souls registered for protection, allegedly, not for heinous reasons. We've yet to prove that, but it's on the table. So your estate and your legal stance that is done by ignorance, a legal maxim there, he who doesn't know he has any rights, therefore has no rights. So if you are assumed and presumed the V5 owner, no, we're not. Excuse me. We'd like to inform you, we conditionally accept your claim there, and we correct them and put it straight. So we've done rather well on this side with the legal administrative corrections from legal into LORE, using their stuff, moving over with the private, and we've taught you how we do it. We haven't taught you legal because we're not legal and we're not licensed. So with the assumptive, presumptive, we have to speak up or it's not corrected. So with regards to the person and the organs, it's like a busload of mans might be involved in a head-on collision, and if 99.9 haven't opted out, then all them organs are for recycle standard, because that's the way that the legal system works as we know it. So the assumptive presumptiveness is all over the place, and it's disgusting that somebody could be so arrogant as to assume. That's the height of ignorance, and also a form of a silent war in effect, because those that are ignorant go by the wayside, which is why we've stepped up to come and broadcast and give you and publish, interact, and also take criticism and questions. I yield. Bullshit, isn't it? Oh, I thought. What'd you do that for? Oh, I thought. How many times you been in a job when you were younger? And because we're all middle ages now to, well experienced. And you told your boss when you dropped a bollock, I thought that was what I know. Well, you're not going to do that again, are you? Don't think, no. And that's where we're at. The realms that we're in. Actors think and perform honour. We command and are. So it's not arrogance. We do observe the law. We're in an observant universe. When you look at the quantum split particle and so forth, and the subatomic, you realise when you watch something, it doesn't act like when something's broken and you take it to the repair shop, it's no longer broken. When you're doing a job, a task, a duty, whatever, and a hobby, and you've been doing it years, then somebody comes to watch you, you go to pieces. So it's the realm that we're in. This is why I'm interested in that science aspect of it and the laws, the hermetic laws, the principles. And we're here to help. We're not here to have a go. We're not here to criticise. We're not here to say "I told you so." We're here to say, you know, what have you got to say?
Well, that's so true what you said. You know, there's the difference between unknowing and all you hear in the news is I think this, I think that, I think this, and I think that. There's not I know. There's hardly, you don't hear I know on any of the news channels or any of the stuff. It's all about I think, I think, I think. I thought
Opinion.
Well, I presume.
It's not news, it's opinion.
Exactly.
They won't use it.
I think there's a small family of tits in your beard. A small family of tits.
They
living.
were. Got them out.
I'm gonna grow one. I need
That's more.
one.
I'm doing the 6 now.
Bless you.
Can you use it as a COVID mask too?
I can, yes. I do tell them. There we go.
Get some colours in that for Christmas, mate. That's nice.
It's good for leftovers, man.
Can I say hello to? We've got Bird in the room, G-Man, Fly, with Lisa. She's no longer. Oh no, it's Alan there as well, and Barn. You've dropped in. Kevin's dropped in to keep Lisa company. G-Man, Fly, welcome. Hello. Yes, hello.
A real centre.
For ages, actually, James. But I know why now. Proper folk.
So did anyone else see all the HIV stuff that's coming out on the Sky News? It's so funny. How they went to cancel all the tests for the vaccines in Australia.
Okay, that sounds suspicious.
Well, because it's got that HIV splice in it, like old Luke Montagnier said, and so does the vaccine. But it's dormant for now. But trust us, because it's safe. You won't get AIDS, even though it's got a bit of it in it. Yeah.
Could we?
All those people, so I wonder.
Who was that? Wait a minute. Who? Say that again.
We can hear you.
My days.
There you are.
Hello, I'm Steve. I've spoke to Kev before. Hello, David. Hello, everybody else. Nice to listen to you all.
What? Hello.
Steve.
Chin chin.
I'm alright, mate. Thank you. Yourself?
Bit broken, mate, but struggling on.
It's mad because I was just listening then, and when you look at all the signs and everything, and I pointed a couple of things out on a Facebook post that were to do with the nurse that was dealing with the first patient. Apparently, I think the second one was William Shakespeare that old Matt Wancock got upset about.
No, he was laughing so much at that, wasn't he? It's great,
you know. But that's I forget now. But that's because he knows he's taking the piss out of us. He gets excited by doing that. He can't contain himself. That's like one of the byproducts of being Matt Hancock, I think. But the nurse that injected. When you look at the belts and everything that they're wearing, and it's all signs that they're Masonic, obviously. But just a little bit bizarre that the First Lady apparently died 8 years ago. I know, it's just.
That's right, yeah.
It's like they say you couldn't write it, but unfortunately they already have.
Did anyone read what the bottle actually said? I sent you a picture of that, Dave. It says diluted to a certain. I mean, who's getting that mixture right? Does it have to be down to the droplet, 100%? What happens if it's too much, too little?
They're just going to jab you up, mate. Am I about that?
There were certain pictures of the nurse. She was holding it like a pen. and they were saying, how on earth is she going to inject?
Is this the one where the bloke's wearing a...
She's posing for the pictures, but
the shot in arm.
Is this
mate,
where...
it's frightening.
Steve,
When I found out that the second man was William Shakespeare and he got injected in Coventry, that was absolutely mental. That is a proper piss take.
I would love to know if that was just, if that was them in the room saying, hang on, let's make up some weird name and see if they actually believe it. William Shakespeare. I bet you William Bucks would get away with
100%. 100%.
Stephen, did you see? Have you seen the pictures circulating where they've got the nurse injecting the old lad there through the T-shirt, and then that same nurse that injects it's a media picture through the T-shirt is somewhere a few hundred miles away doing another injection within a very short time. And I just thought, I can't believe, if this is real, I can't believe what we're seeing.
They said, well, they obviously give you.
And furthermore, brother Lynn.
Yeah, it is frightening when you think that all this has been scripted for a long, long time now, and we are, I think, lucky to be able to see it play out now from our perspective as opposed to
balloons.
That Britney Spears song just keeps playing in my head. That oops, we did it again. We put a bit of HIV into your cream. Whoops.
Yeah, I won't get none of that.
A virus came from monkeys.
Can,
we put it in the vaccine by accident. Whoops.
Can I ask one of you to?
Ricky Gervais does a good sketch about that, about the monkeys and AIDS. Actually, you'll try and find it's really funny. Sorry, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, I think I know what you're on about there, and it is quite comical, satirical, dry wit, coughing humour style. He's always the best. And I would like to ask one of you that talked to me earlier about a teacher asking the class whether or not mum and dad have taught. Check this out, everyone. Somebody may or may not want to speak up here, but if you don't, I've got enough from them earlier to carry it through. But to the gentleman, brother, initiate, scholar and sovereign that mentioned to me earlier about the school and the teacher, would you like to repeat that, or should I carry on?
Yes.
Go on.
Hang on, I'll bring it up. I've got the recording.
Oh, no way.
You got to show, I'll send you something on Telegram. I don't know if you can share that in the groups.
Not yet, no. No.
Not yet, okay. Well, basically, I collected my son from school, and he said, oh, today, Dad, our science teacher was talking about vaccines. Well, first, they were talking about, babies, conception, and I was like, gross. He's very young. And they're talking about vaccines and for baby, and it's good for people. And then all of a sudden, the teacher asks, who's all taking the vaccine? And I think he said about half the class stuck up their hand, and the others just get their hand down. And the teacher says, why aren't you taking the vaccines? Your teachers think they know more than doctors and professors? I don't think they're very well educated. That's not very clever of them. And carried on and on. And I was just absolutely shocked. How can a teacher who's meant to be apparently teaching the facts put his opinion on, because he said that the vaccines are safe, because my wife is a doctor and she says it's safe. And I'm going to have it, and you should all be having it, and you shouldn't be listening to you. You shouldn't be listening to your parents. Your parents don't know what they're talking about because they're uneducated. Are they cleverer than doctors? I'm like, what did he just say?
This is not a normal vaccine. End of. You go first, teacher. I'll speak to you in 4 or 5 years, see how things are.
You won't.
No, you won't.
4 or 5
No,
years.
you won't.
Actually, we can say this is an old plan, because they have been educated, those teachers, and they put them in right now.
Absolutely.
No, they
Oh yeah, this whole thing's been a long process, and everything's still nearly in place.
So, my comments earlier when I heard that story tell a factual account of a real life events in the Academy and Trust was, number one, is that science teacher within his remit to be asking his class about parents, their intelligence, and whether or not they're considering having the vaccine? Number two, does his insurance and liability insurance as a teacher cover him for any damages, slander, defamation of character, damages, and or medical advice of which he's given because his wife is a doctor? What am I on? 4, is he getting paid commission? Has he got something in his pocket? Leaflets? Is that what's coming next? Go and see me. Yeah, my wife, she's good at, oh, it won't even, I can't even get my breath when he told me this.
Belittling the children and belittling the parents, I was so shocked.
Yeah, with no, as I say, you could just shoot them down with, okay, then you prove this is safe because nobody's tested it, blah, 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 blah. So that's just outrageous.
But there's the question is that happening in every single school? They've been, terrorized, basically. It's like, who the hell is he to put his opinion on the kids and belittle the parents? Not only that, but bring the question of trust between the parents and the children. Because he's trying to say that you shouldn't trust your parents, you should trust us, the teachers. Not the ones that raise you and look after you, but the ones there's your socialist influence there, the lefty in the education system right there. Yep.
And Kev, me and you have spoken recently about my little Lucas with his illness, and it's only a matter of time before they start holding back these what the so-called privileges of you getting your medication until you've had what they want you to have. If they can do it with travel,
you're protected already now. And just say the main thing you've got to remember with this shit at the moment is it's experimental, so you don't refuse it.
Yes.
I'm not consenting at this time until there's more data. It's not a normal vaccine. A normal vaccine is a minimum of 7 years. Minimum. So if this isn't normal, what would a normal vaccine, then what must the minimum be?
Yeah.
But also, if you've got any health issues, sorry. Yep.
You just don't know, and it's too much of a risk, and there's so many different components to it. It's not even been tested against any other medication. Okay, it's tested against nothing. It's ridiculous that the MHRA, Medical and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, who are the people that do all the tests, make sure everything's safe before it's released onto the market, have basically gone, yes, we're approving it, even though it meets none of our standards, hasn't been anywhere near them. I mean, how fucking ridiculous is that? Excuse my French.
But they didn't even mention AIDS or HIV. Have they informed people that it's got that in it? Does it have it in it? I mean, if it's got it in every other country.
Well, that's
but it's dormant. That's what
won't be going into me.
It's dormant. That's what they want to remember. It's only dormant for now. Dormant means it's dormant for now. Doesn't mean it could be activated at any time, is it?
Yeah, 100%.
Dormant's not dead.
There we go.
Yeah. Bill Gates goes dormant from time to time.
He's a dormant.
Yeah, I wish he was good. I fucking knocked him out. Anyway, we digress.
Oh, Richie's in the house.
Steve, just briefly, Steve, that form's nothing to it really, is there? I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I did see that, but I need to change my letter, don't I? Because when I started, I thought I was doing all right for about 10 years, trying to research this sort of stuff, and then the other day, how I've not seen it before from liability, mate. I think you got it posted on your YouTube channel, SPLRS Pro. And it was the university, and I watched its 21 episodes. And all of my days, mate, at 47, I had my head pickled. For like
Which one are you talking about? Sorry.
There was 21 episodes on liability, mate. It was the
yes, yep.
Oh my days! I've been researching this stuff. Like I spoke to Kevin and that, but yeah. And it's a lovely way to spend a weekend, so I would advise anybody to do that. I've had a proper nice weekend. And Kev, I can't thank you enough for getting back to me, because you didn't have to, and you've never spoke to me, and I left you a phone number. And thank you, David, for you helping out as well. And I'll, thank you very much.
Yeah, we've got this. As I say, all you got to do that form, avoid the person, and sign off all rights reserved. I personally wouldn't, you can put I would attach, redo your letter if you're not happy.
So
it's just the words I'm thinking
and
now.
Attach the whole. Let me have another look through it, mate. I'm just a bit under pressure at the moment. I've had a rough.
No worries. Listen,
week.
whenever.
I'll
I'll have a look at it, and but what we're going to do is attach that to their paperwork, and it becomes one then. So you could just sign off on yours. What I'm saying, just as long as you reserve all your rights.
Yeah.
And as I say, I wouldn't do a signature. If the word signature's written anywhere, I would just change it to autograph.
Okay, brilliant.
So.
I think, Dave, am I right in saying there's some sort of 244s on the .com?
What I've done is I've listed all of the .gov UK CPR forms from A to Z, but they're in numbers, so 0 to 1 million. There's a hell of a lot, and then I've just put down the link to anybody that comes in to the domain that wants to look at, because there are times when you need to legally pursue. So yeah, there's a link to the .gov UK, but if you just go on DuckDuck and put in government court forms or government court forms, that's something simple. You get
244. I didn't know. Steve got it.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got it.
It's only 2 pages, isn't it? There's not a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, give them the minimum, and if there's any boxes where you've covered information they want in your written stuff, then say, I refer you to. Don't please with them, and don't use please if you can avoid it as well. Don't please with the bastards.
no begging.
So I refer you to rather than please refer to. I refer you to the attached. But if you put it all together, it's just all you want to do on that. All you need to worry about with this lot is just protect all your rights.
Brilliant.
So retain your rights, all rights retained.
Yeah.
Could throw a bit of UCC in there if you wanted to. There's examples of that. But yeah, let me have another read through your letter.
Well, I was going to offer to.
In a couple of days.
I'm going to offer to do that because Kevin is on orders. Literally orders. Orders. What orders are orders are orders are orders. We don't give you. The slaves they're coming out, but brother Kevin is under house arrest and is under orders for arresting. So I would take a look at that, and then after I've looked at it, I can gladly pass it to Kev. But I'd be wanting to let him rest and chill out because he's his own worst enemy. We said this. We'll be careful because we're on tube and that. But we said last night to the .com.
Yeah, 100%.
He needs to have a bit of a break. Get him sent out.
Yeah, it's all got a bit much recently, Steve, and it's all coming. But I've discussed it with Dave in confidence. And Dave knows the 244s. As I say, just protect your rights, mate. That's the most important thing you can do. And 100%. Know who you are. And that's it.
You know that.
If you're not happy with the letter, I'll have another look through it. Realistically.
Oh, no, I was. When I wrote it, I was writing it. And because I knew that you and Dave might get to peruse over it, I was making sure, it was the best.
Is that Dave or seen dancing around? Sorry.
Um,
He's so experienced.
still
another
Steve, don't worry, Steve, about that. I know what you mean, because when I write to other people and give stuff, I'm a bit nervous. But
We'll sort you out, Steve. All right, you get sorted out, mate. I promise.
No, thank you ever so much, mate. It's just nice knowing that, just nice speaking to you, end of.
Good.
No, that's no problem, mate. It's all sort of happening as you. I don't need to tell anybody about what sort of a year this has been. And
go on.
I've
Just
taken a bit of a dip.
movie.
Yeah, I've taken a bit of a dip as well at the end of it. So it hasn't helped with my mental health. Just depression, that really, and stress. So. But you certainly won't get left in the lurch, mate. So we'll check everything out for you. Don't worry about that, brother.
Can I ask you? Because I've suffered with depression all my life. Are you on anything now?
As in what?
Not prescription drugs. Sorry.
Non-prescription.
No.
Non-prescription.
Anything prescription.
At this time, the only thing I use an inhaler. But I'll be honest with you, this one here, this is the one I'm using at the moment. You probably can't see that, but it's actually empty. See the red?
Yeah.
Empty for ages. So I actually survive. I get as much relief from an empty inhaler. Been on them 40 odd years, no longer than that actually. So I can. I've got a full one here, which if I'm going elsewhere, I'll always take with me just in case. But generally, I'm meant to be. Yes, I'm prescribed a lot. Some of it nearly killed me twice, so I stopped that.
We should all go cold dipping. that apparently works wonders. I used to do that without it.
It's small enough as it is.
Can I, boys?
You got to get to the stage when you can't even feel it. Then you know it's working. Because then you're only using one brain, not the two anymore, which is better.
Can I interject with back to Steve then, just for a moment? Remember that Tube's on the mic there as well, Steve. But I've got a couple of. No, it's all right. It's all fine. We're doing well. I'm just making sure.
Just be careful with data, Steve. It's always a
Yes.
Sensitive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Putting by.
I'll say hello to them as well.
When you
You're not going to hear me now because I'm doing sign language to the phone.
When you want to retain and you write and you've got like a box there with a signatory to put in your usual signature with full liability, if you would like to consider, if anybody would like to consider putting by in lowercase and the given calling forename in lowercase by David, and outside of the box with all rights retained, either above or just before the signature. Depends. They're quite crafty now because they've seen what we've others have started to do. So they make the boxes very tight, and they fill up the pages, and they don't give you a bit of space like they used to before. So just be careful with the paperwork. We're not advocates of, like I say, strictly going into domains and using these forms, but we can use these forms and be clever about them, keeping the persona, person, legal liabilities separate. So Kevin, he did give you some articulate and concise, very astute information there. We did have a chat about this before, and with regards to your signature and your autograph, that would be, as he said there, all rights retained. And then if there is a box, try to maybe put it outside, and the word by lowercase name, that denotes that it isn't a signature, because by I'm not going to get into it all now, but we can expand on that later, and in the .com and everywhere. But those that want to look at why that would be true in the case, you know about boxes and the four corner rule and things like that, and italic font, bold, underlined. So I wanted to say that before I forgot. And then the next bit is, remember what I said at the beginning when I started talking about Tube. Is there something along the lines of access denial? And would I be right in thinking that it could be something terminal? afflicted one of the offspring, the assets, your son or daughter? Is it to do with access, and is it to do with limitations, and is there an illness involved by any chance?
Yeah.
Could you? Because Kevin and I find this incredible. Human rights.
I don't have to go that deep into it.
Thank you.
Contact stopped with my 13 and 14-year-old sons. My 13-year-old is terminally ill, and that's been for 9 months now. So I tried to do it because my ex-partner, wife, she's not going to look at anything that I send her handwritten or anything I stamp or put a thumbprint on. She'd think I was taking the piss. So unless it's got a solicitor's name on it or it comes from the court, so I had to try and do things through the court, and that come back. The courts said they weren't going to put an order on the claim, just mad. That's when I got into Kev, and thank goodness Kev got back to me.
A bit more info as well, mate. Actually, no.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's
sorry.
It's just obviously that's good as gold, mate. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I say I have discussed with Dave. Discussed with you. So yeah, we'll get the as I say. There's no point just going after discussion with Dave. There's no point just going straight to the beat.
No.
Because I know what they'll do. They'll come back. It doesn't come.
Yeah.
So staple your stuff to it, then it becomes one. Then back with their paperwork, with the minimum info on paperwork, and maybe the signature that's all attached will be your all rights reserved signature at the end of your paperwork. So don't actually put a signature on their paperwork.
I can't see the front.
Yeah, no, yeah. Because I suppose I'm endorsing their
well, you fill it out, but if we literally attach handwritten stuff
Butterfingers.
under that, then that becomes one. There's canons for that. Don't worry, it's all kosher. So then, you can fill their paperwork out, but don't put signature in the signature box. Your signature would be at the end of your paperwork that is stapled to it.
Yeah.
Use that as the end. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd probably avoid. But as Dave says, if you want to cover your arse and not get jerked around or pick them off too much, then just sign BY lowercase by Stephen, and then all rights reserved without the box, or maybe running after your signature out of the box.
It's mad because I heard a chap the other day saying that when he was in Australia somewhere, he'd been inside the jail on the daytime, and they'd come to saying you got to sign here to get released. And when he signed, he went to sign all rights reserved, and then he had to make sure apparently that his signature touched one bit of the all rights reserved that he'd written. And as he started writing all rights reserved, the policeman said to him, "Ooh, what are you doing?" He said, "You can't do that." And he said, "Well, surely you can't be telling me now how I can sign my name." And apparently that's it. So he signed it. He wrote all rights reserved, and then he made sure that his signature touched. Mad. Pick on my head, so now he just ferments it.
Or VC it, Steve. You know about that, don't you? V.C. before your signature. These compulsive right characters, because you're under duress, because they want you to conform. So V.C. sign your name, and then you just say, I was under duress, I wasn't going to get my gear back, they weren't going to release me, they weren't going to do this. I was under duress to sign, so that's why VC'd it. Just as effective, unless of course it's a common law breach. Then you might not get away with it. If it's a statute, then don't contract. We'll get you sorted out, mate. Don't worry, and They're sort of getting that. They're probably going to start shutting down over Christmas. But personally, I think compassionate grounds is more than enough for me as a I don't really like this term, as a human being on the planet. That's a compassionate thing to me. So all we can do is go and speak to them and see what happens.
Yeah, no, brilliant, mate. I got me a couple of Christmas presents sorted for them yesterday, so they were all sent off. So I did say to them, all you've got to do is give Dad a bell and let me know what you want. But it'll all be good, mate. It'll all
nice one.
It'll all come out. But it's
still a bit raw as well, isn't it? 9 months.
Oh, mate, a long time.
Yeah,
fucking breaks you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, been there, mate.
But hey ho, I'm looking. Well, I go out most nights.
With the kids, I've got to be honest. I didn't have any issues over the kids, seeing them or anything like that. I was lucky in that respect. But yeah, the actual separation part was traumatic for a long time, being separated.
Oh yeah. But it's getting through the other side, and having times like this now when we're all having a chat together, and it's.
That's what it's all about. Just keep an eye on each other, have a listen. Say on this leave type of guy. I quite often just let everything out. It doesn't bother me. It's just how I am. Tell anybody anything, quite frankly. If they're fool enough to listen, please get lives, people.
Brilliant.
But we'll see, we get you there, mate. I say we'll get them.
It's getting us all there. We'll all get there. We're all going to have I think we're going to see some mad stuff December. Look where we are now. It's the 14th today. The 14th today, isn't it?
The 13th today.
My 14th tomorrow. Yeah.
14th tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's see what happens in America tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
Monday week.
Don't go there. Well,
Dave.
That was Sandy Hook, wasn't it? That was the 14th. Sandy Hook was the 14th.
When's the 336th day of the year? Because that's when they're rolling up. Well, that was the day they signed the World War II thing, wasn't it? And that's the same time as the vaccine thing they're looking to push forward.
Yeah.
Symbolism in the days and the dates.
Oh.
Sorry, I interjected there.
And I just out of respect, have a quick run through the room in YouTube. Lisa, we'll just said hello, but hello again. Fly, Jerry, Byrne, Barnster. Your brother's on the video in here, mate.
Hi, Bernard.
Hello, Michelle. How you doing?
All right, lovely.
Who have I missed in there? Have I missed anybody? Jerry, oh look, now the server's gone down. Result. Oh, it's back. Jerry, how are you, mate? Not spoke to you for a while. Everything's all right, mate. Good to see you. Mandy. Probably gone through a few. Steve. Steve.
Yes, mate. I'm here still.
Nice. I hope I haven't missed anybody in there. I'm sorry if I have. I'm going back slowly. I don't think so. Anyway, hello.
Thank you. I'll just put a link in for both rooms in the Indie chat and for the Zoom chat. Then I've just put the link in for I've just done a search for your brother Lynn on the 1st of December, day 336 of 2020. Congratulations, it says from that link, Prophetic Wings org, and it says, "Beloved, on the behalf of God, I welcome you to the month of December. For the scripture says in Psalm 100, verse 4, Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and to his courts with praise. For that all the Lord has done in your life from January the 1st, give him thanks. Thus saith the Lord, welcome to your world of celebrations, season of crowning blessings, season of remembrance, go. Finished. That's what I just did. Madness. And what was that? Yeah, that was for whoever asked me. So day 336. And
Yeah,
also,
I just noticed that because they brought that data in relation to World War II and also with regards to the vaccines. And I'm like, why would they announce that? 336. 336. Just so that prophecy, isn't it?
we keep an eye on it. We shall keep an open eye on that. And symbolism is, their forte, but also their downfall. With regards to with times and dates and stuff, I myself over the last 3 months have suffered, allowed, endured. Yes, and I've been afflicted with weird times. Some, when I say weird, actually fantastic weird, strange, not just scary and bizarre, but very astute, concise, syncretism, coincidences, good luck, fortune. So it's weird because it's not normal to have that much in a row. Normally you have some good things and then a shitstorm and then a few more good bits and forwards and backwards carry on. Energy.
You shouldn't complain.
Energy.
There is no coincidence. All good.
Yeah, I've explained that. Yeah, Josh X has. It's chat and but let me just. It was going to the clocks when you watch the Disclosure 2020 HD 3D that I've linked into both the chats. So if you do want to do that, you will see when I've said the Temple of Angkor Wat has got the teachings of the flat Earth. Teachings there. This is where the premise has come from, not just YouTube, and they don't always tell you again, like this video that's got the cosmic egg in that Martin Kenny and others have spoken about, but then I don't believe they've referenced the true owner, the intellectual property rights of the worker. They come out and they say certain things. Well, I didn't get it from Martin Kenny, I didn't get it from Santos Bonacci, I didn't get it from Josh X. One of our scribes has been to the temple of Angkor Wat, and he's sent me some pictures and so forth. I have not been, but it's my favourite old temple for many reasons, and I have got my heart going, set to go there. But in there, other than flat Earth theory and people with telescopes, Galileo, he didn't make the telescope. They've shown videos and pictures, like it's there next to me. They've shown intricate little carvings all the way along, so intricate, and they've got moving parts. There's even a rock with a bottle in it with a rock, and you can go in and touch the rock inside, which is a ball, like the bottles that you used to have with the ball in them for medicine, and you'd shake them or you'd pour, and then when the right amount come out, the glass ball would drop down, and that was your measure. If you're young, you won't know what I'm on about, but in the olden days, they used to have funky glass bottles that my dad and grandpa used to collect. So in Angkor Wat, there's a temple. It's very precious. It's got a lot of information in there, and some of the scholars that I can't remember the name of because it was a long time ago, they professed that there is an age written where it's got the planetary alignment of the golden age, which is coming up, and every 6,000 years you will get the Virgo's trick shot. Again, you need to be quite. It's a snooker. Was it snooker? Yeah, snooker show back in the day for dads and mums. Jim Davidson and his pal Virgo there. He was a snooker champion. John Virgo was his name, a snooker champion. And he used to do trick shots all the time, and he did one where he lined up all the colours and he needed to get them in, and he showed you a way of doing jumping over and certain things to when he gets snookered in snooker to get out of it. And when I looked at the alignment of the celestial solar for our galaxy, it shows you they're all in a line, like Virgo's trick shot where he needs to jump one to get in, and that's what the 21st of the 12th alignment would be about. So it's the reset of the clock. And when you watch the presentation by these boys on that channel for the universal disclosure, that this alignment and the powers from the planets, the electromagnetic, I think that's what we could all be, because you are caring, you're loving, you're sensitive, you know, and we get affected differently. So I think there's a lot more at play than 5G and ionization from radioactive fallout, if you like, electromagnetic radioactive fallout, not nuclear, but it still is radio wave and it's radioactive. So I think these planets, when they're on the move here, are going to charge us up. But I think for the time being, we are feeling a lot of disturbance and stronger forces than we should have been feeling normally. So that's because this is on its way, I reckon.
Well, that's really, we start to get the glitches. Has anyone noticed more glitches happening on radio and on TV and a few other places? The moon and the sun, where they come. One day it's almost twice the size as the previous day, and not tracking the same position. There's lots happening with regards to that. Don't know what, but yeah. Things are changing.
Everything changes but you. Yeah, we've had strange things. We got strange things on Facebook happening. I know it's random, but we've had accounts and certain connectivity issues here and there. But yeah, we got algorithmic problems. We can't, me, Kevin, and I can't explain that now because it would reveal something that we're a little bit concerned about, and we'd rather keep it.
I wish my bank was having algorithmic problems.
Well, that's the question. Is it from a solar storm, or is it? Could it possibly be what do they call it? Morphogenic resonance, that because everyone's sort of getting onto the same thing, that it's causing more and more an effect because everyone's been affected. So that's never been in history that so many people been affected by one or two things all at the same time.
But
yeah, it's so true.
And two now coming up here on the 20th.
Sorry, say that again, Anders?
There is an alignment of the planets coming up on the 20th.
On the 20th, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're on about.
Yeah.
21st, I thought it was.
21st, yeah.
There's plenty happening all around the 20th, 21st, 22nd.
There's your man.
And there's 2 eclipses this month, correct?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, the solar eclipse is on the 14th. What's that, tomorrow?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can 100% feel it today.
Yes.
We've had no sun, so sorry I can't.
Yeah, no, I mean that way.
Yeah, usual.
Physically.
Well, I mean,
depends on your chart. Depends on your chart. Some people feel it more than others.
True.
So, if you hear a few werewolf stories, you'll know why.
Right.
No, that's the same thing with the moon here in Sweden. It's the same thing that you are seeing. And they are spraying here every day. We don't have any sunshine here at all. And it's true also that the moon is bigger some days and smaller, and I find it really strange because I never noticed that before.
Might it be a cool thing to ask at this time of night what everybody's point of view on the moon are? Or maybe not.
Yeah, well, I don't have a clue what the moon is, but some say it's a space station, and some say it is, something else, But
Very interesting, isn't it? It never changes, does it? Like the position that we see, it's always the same face, or it doesn't revolve or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's always been here for a long, long time, because it's working
with.
That's why I like that. I think Dave mentioned it earlier. That video, somebody Kelly, they put a video out, and just there, I do quite go with that understanding of how the planets come about and where they are, and in the different realms. But yeah, it's just very bizarre how our moon and sun, they never.
The insects and the plants and everything is working with the moon too.
With them.
They are working with the moon, so when the insects they are mating, then it's always full moon. You know,
yeah, and you get I know this will sound mad, but when you're in the light of the moon, that's colder than being in the shade.
True.
Of the moon, so it has its own heat. It's just a cold heat. If that makes any sense.
The lunar cycles are interesting. I've got some green-fingered friends that swear blind that they always crack and grow and fertilise and plant on full moons and follow inside and out. Yeah.
All the time. You can make all that happen yourself now when it comes to growing. You only have your own planet.
Yeah, stratospheres and everything, but just for various and many, outside and inside, or more or less outside grow is beneficial in countries that have a tropical Mediterranean to tropical. They can get their ladies outside, their fruits and everything. You know, not just the green puffed dragons and that, but the actual fruits and veg as well. They harvest and yield all plants allegedly when they follow the lunar cycle. It's got a certain name of which escapes me now. But that's interesting. Because they need the sunlight to grow, photons and chloroform and etc. from the sun, electrons, and all that business.
And also the moonlight.
But really, yeah, you wouldn't have thought it. So when you say questions and things about the moon, other than what we've brought about the language, the etymology, that really shocked me, because I thought you'd think it would be at the beginning of the sun's month or something that, you know, as a new month starts rather than a lunar waning. The moon wanes, doesn't it? And it comes back and fills up. It has like the
waxes.
Madness, yeah.
But the same thing applies to crystals, and that there's different times when you clear them and you charge them in the moonlight. And there's also when the moon is in your sign, you've got 3 to 4 days every month that the moon's in your sign, and that's when you're more connected, I would say, to
2.5 days per sign.
Yeah, 2.5 to 4. Yeah.
If there is anybody that has been doing Ormus, then they also know that when you do that under the moonshine, then it's so much Ormus you are producing. It is so much more.
What is it? Ormus?
Yeah, Ormus. That's the Ormus manna. They are calling it manna too.
And what is that? Sorry for my ignorance.
Oh, it's minerals what you are making of.
Yes.
Yes, and you take them out, and they are good for everything. It's like cans. It's the same thing almost. It is a way of doing it. But if you do it when it's the full moon, then it's like 5 times more that you are producing. So that's really strange too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over and out.
Nice one, Claudio.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, thanks. I remember that one.
Indeed.
There's a lot of chirp going off. If you can look at the indie chat there, there's a lot of activity. There's 26 watching, and we have Mandy with the input questions. There's quite a lot there going on. They're giving out information. They're listening to us, and I pointed out all links and everything are working. This is somewhat of a test little chat because I didn't know how it would go and if we could actually wire it up properly. So yes, they're asking about Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is the Lyndon sound wave. Can you talk about Schumann resonance to the YouTube on the chat room there? You've got we call him sound wave, Brother Lynn, because he likes resonance, frequency, vibration, don't you?
Vibration.
Or maybe not. Is he here? Is Lyndon there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm there. Just getting a bit of the glitches going.
Sound, aka
Yeah.
sound wave. Yeah, thank you.
Hang on, there's a. What's it? Hang on. I'll get a good documentary for everyone to watch. I'll just get the name of it. I know YouTube have been trying to remove it for quite some time.
Is Claudio having some good news?
Good news. Always good news, man.
Good to hear.
Yeah. Everybody just think positive, man. It's all gonna be good.
Yeah, fantastic.
So when you look at the moon, just remember it's a female, and if you submit to that female, you're all set.
Mama's coming home.
Never get the wrong. Submitting to the wrong queen.
The queen.
Tell us some more, brother.
So all you gotta do is do that. Get rid of all your materialistic shit that you don't need, and you're golden.
Okay.
Well, we ain't got anything anyway, because it's over us about.
I know that part's easy, isn't it?
It's like, get rid of all your materialistic shit.
But we're so bad.
That part's easy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We've been living out of suitcases for the last year.
Yeah, well, get rid of the fucking tent.
So, no, we gotta keep that. That's a backup plan.
I know when they say they want it all. Fuck that, they're not having anything.
Back to the woods with the tent.
I've got wood burning for the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's the one they want to block, isn't it? It's so called law they bring in that you've only got to burn, what's it? Fuel dried and 2 years dried wood. Or no more coal. But yet they've just commissioned to open that new coal mine, or the old coal mine in Wales again. You can't burn it to keep warm, but you can pay us so that you can get the gas and electric, which we burn coal for, to keep you warm.
Well done to Scotland, Fife. They're having 300 homes converted from gas, normal mineral gas, into hydrogen. They're doing an experiment for hydrogen gas technology, and they come out and said it's just that we're having trouble locating and harnessing hydrogen. I'm like, no, it comes from water, doesn't it, everybody? It's H2O. So, as you know, I've done hydrogen stuff and the engines and the cleans and what I've been promoting, and the MOT and the lack of dirt in a diesel engine that's from 05, 1.9 TDI, and it's got 0.05, 0.07 on the, 0.02 on the first MOT 2 years ago, and then on the last year's MOT it was 0.05. So the government is saying that they're going to struggle to cope with the supply delivery. It's a very slippery gas, I'll give it that, but the government's saying energy departments and how they're going to get hydrogen and manufacture it is a joke, because man's doing it in his kitchen, man's doing it in sheds, they're getting glass jars and batteries, and it comes from water, which the earth is 80% of. In Africa, and because water is so precious, they use hydrogen from ox, bison, cattle, human, urination, and they capture the hydrogen from their own urine. So the train in Birmingham running on hydrogen, again, it's early, it's phase 1, but that's a bit of positive news for the green fingered ones, and the green, anybody that's trying to recycle and try and help out and doing their bit. Then it's a little bit too late, but it's because they've had it hundreds of years, this technology. The Royal King's College over here have been the ones that have suppressed medicine, hermetic technologies, and you know, the laws, the principles. Isaac Newton, one of the last great alchemists to leave us, and I know what clubs he may or may not have been in, but that aside, it's slowly being drip fed back to us now. So I just thought I'd mention that there is a bit of a turning point in Scotland, in Fife and Birmingham, with the train, and hydrogen is looking to come in, water related, not moon related. But I just wanted to give some to those that don't know. I was quite excited to hear this, and
well, you can see that the big boys are trying to move on. That when you see articles about Bloomberg, that hydrogen might be getting a little cheaper to produce. Yes, that's because we know.
But that's not a problem anymore with the storing of the hydrogen, because you are storing it in a porous ceramic. Porous ceramic is the best if you're going to store hydrogen safely, so it can't explode or anything.
Okay. Did not know that. So, sorry to interject there. Dave, you were saying about the frequency, and one of the documentaries, that's, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but I've got copies of it. It is called Frequency Beams, Human Resonance, and then it's also got not for public release. It's about 2 hours long, but it's one of the really good documentaries. I'll see if I can get a link and put it into the chat.
yeah, afterwards you can put it in the comments when the video's done on Tube. You can stick it in there. We have got a public.
I mean, there's a great CNN video, because people think it's all, conspiracy, the EMF weapons and that, but there's a 1985 CNN news documentary I found where they spoke about EMF weapons and shooting planes down with the weapons all the way back from 1985, and I'll put that in there as well.
Thank you.
Barry Crow is a good one.
Sorry?
Barry Crow, who's a microwave technician. I think not a microwave technician. Well, that's what they call chefs in McDonald's.
Do they? Suppose because they're not technically, probably because they're not technically trained on the microwave stuff. And if anyone wants to know a lot, which I stumbled across, studying, learning all this frequency stuff, there's a site called microwavevets.com, where they've got all the old vets that have been, how would I say, cooked from this technology, and all the issues, and you look at all the symptoms, and it's a great comparison. They've got a lot of information there. And it will relate to a lot what's going on at the moment. People getting ill and sick.
Yeah.
And another one that speaks, or that knows a lot about that, is Dr. Thomas Cowan. If you look at that, his immunity speech in 2019. It's probably one of the best ones out there. How he's researched a lot of that, but it's also, he goes into the various, the release dates of when the various frequencies got released during our times, and each time sort of coincided with a so-called pandemic. Yeah. But Dr. Thomas Cowan. Some good stuff. I'm going to restart, sorry, because I've bumped my SIM card into my phone and it keeps telling me to restart. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
That we're all in.
What's that?
I say it is really the Matrix that we're all in.
Yeah. We the batteries.
Yeah, exactly what we are, yeah. Having it all.
Alright, see you in 5.
No worries.
Anybody think
Can't
that?
be here.
Did anybody think that Matt Hancock really cried the other day on the news, or do you think it was crocodile?
Yeah,
Was he
I won the lottery as well.
Was he stabbing himself in the leg under the table with a box of cut onions underneath, and he still couldn't squeeze a tear out?
It was. I tell you what, though, I thought Boris getting COVID was a total joke, but that's definitely that's worth an award the other day. That was just pathetic. I mean, do you think the puppet master's behind the game? Watch what we get this prick to do.
It's mad because fucking Barbara Windsor died yesterday. Fucking Matt Hancock gave a performance that wouldn't have even made it onto EastEnders.
He's fucking terrible. But what are these people like? Come on. What horrible people they are.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be a culling.
We got the international community dropping its investigation into previous war crimes because, let's face it, they protect each other. They know that we've broken the laws, many of them, and we've done bad things. But I'm not going to get into that story. But I did post that and find a little bit. We were celebrating International Human Rights Day the other day, and then immediately afterwards, I heard that the international etc. were dropping the investigations. Kev, yeah, it was a right kick in the bollocks. To be fair, you couldn't have made it up.
It's outrageous. Oh, look, like they start going over the soldiers who we paid just to, it's nothing to do with the soldiers. It's always the soldiers that get it. Where's the people that, sitting back in the offices giving the orders? They're the ones who had rope down their neck. End of story.
Yeah, and then we got midwives that are looking to be being prosecuted publicly and both privately after the scandal with the hospitals, nurses midwives neglecting. An investigation has happened with a senior independent private experienced midwife looked into the NHS hospital trusts. Mums have died giving birth. Babies have died after mums have. If you've been affected by this, I say this with love and respect. And as a man that's been affected by a stillbirth, and I don't take light of this, but I was nearly sick when I heard this lady speaking, saying that she got blamed for certain things in hospital. A daughter was going through phases, and they were just trying to drug her up and blaming the mum. And they were. I'm not saying this is every hospital, but the one that's come out. And if you've heard that news, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. And you'd think in 2020 that we would have gone long past this and there'd be regulations and rules and laws to protect, but there clearly isn't. And be very careful. I know obviously vaccines and pandemic, but in addition to that, the humanitarian crisis that came off the back of that newscast and the death of the trusts and the liabilities that they've proven. I'm not just speculating it's been proven by that investigation. It was just it was harrowing to hear what's coming out. I'm going to leave it there. Actually, I've kind of said too much, but
yeah,
you can reflect on
that.
that.
Anything to do with kids and that, it's just horrible.
Yeah, it's real crimes. These are real, dereliction of duties. Mum's going through, it's the most beautiful thing, the most precious gift that man could ever create, as we said at the beginning of this video. And the government aren't involved, the legal state aren't involved. And then when you lose that life, or you lose your wife and your daughter's son, etc., and the way that they've gone on and they've defended themselves and kept it all up, and the mum's come out and give her own testimony to the facts and events at hand, and I was like, wow, I feel sick, I really do. This is unforgivable. Irresponsible? No, it's just nastiness, pure nastiness, to be fair. Half of it, money, contracts, underfunded, in and out, drugs,
machine, mate.
Drugs. Yeah, go on.
Becomes a machine. Unfeeling, uncaring machine.
Yep.
Because of the money. That's exactly what happens. And the type of people that are unfeeling and uncaring are attracted to those those areas, unfortunately, because you come across some real wicked fuckers, you know.
Well, they call psychopaths.
Yeah, you shouldn't. The last thing you should be in is care of any description.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, who's that guy that says that? Hang on, I'll bring up his name. He's done some good ones on the psychopaths, and it just fits in the brief just so well. I mean, old Siren spoke about that, but yeah, there's so many more, and it just fits the bill of everything they do. And, you know, when I've never forgotten that question that was asked of Mac Hancock, how do you sleep at night? Oh, absolutely fine, no problem at all. Well, yeah, there we go. Most people would have a conscience, you know, so stressed out because of...
No, you can't have, I'll tell you, you know, public school takes that out of you anyway.
Eton, yeah, when they come from Eton.
Mate,
School takes it out of you.
Quislings, mate. Quislings, a lot of them.
Oxbridge and Eton, and the way that, yeah, the public school boys that are at the private school getting drilled on how they're going to run the establishment when they leave, and yeah, woe betide them if they don't follow suit. Segue though, because we're going to go at 11:30. It's about 15:15 now, so we'll have a 15-minute roundup, and then I'm on a school night. I've got to be up early. And I'm quite tired, but Nestle.
Got double maths in the morning if you don't.
Nestle, Nazis, boycott them. Have a look in the news. Don't believe me. Search the Supreme Court that have seemed concerned Tuesday about the impact, you know, siding with food giants. Nestle, I've mentioned Cargill before. They're more international than the UK. There's a lawsuit that claims they knowingly bought cocoa from farms in Africa that use child labour. There are stories of men dragging children to work from a village, stealing them, to be fair. Not my words, the investigation. It's a US News World Report from the Associated Press, a file in November 2020. The sun rises behind the US Supreme Court in Washington. The Supreme Court, seemed concerned with the food giants' claims, Nestle and Cargill ending a lawsuit that they knowingly bought these cocoa beans from farms in Africa, knowingly bought, and you know, that's sickening as well. When you say psychopaths, taking children from villages to make chocolate while the East wastes away and starves, the West get fat at these kind of, you know, there's a famous clothing store in England that sells cheap clothes that also is allegedly using, and we are, you know, we're in this, it really is a time for the golden age. If ever there was a need for the golden age, now is it, I do believe, yeah. Shit's getting real, isn't it, to be fair?
Right, exactly. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's here.
It's on the doorstep.
It's here, brother. It's here.
Mark Christopher Kishon coming out.
Just going through the grey area. Just going through the grey.
Yeah.
Anybody that's seen Mark Christopher Kishon on that video that I shared, I honestly don't like him, and he stood between the two American flags telling you 10% truth and 90% bullshit about the...
Who did you say, sorry, Dave?
Mark Christopher Kishon. You are now free to be your own banker is the title of the video. That's just a laugh in itself.
Mark Christopher.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the book. And
here we go. It was the Ministry of Defence, the ICC. They were called vexatious and untenable claims. We call them war crimes. The ICC abandoned the inquiry into alleged British war crimes in Iraq. The prosecutor says, however, there is a reasonable basis to believe atrocities may have been committed. You know, Owen Bowcott, legal affairs correspondent, the International Criminal Court, that's your Geneva Convention. You got the Hague, and that, which is formerly, previously, international war crimes, the Geneva Convention, you've all heard of that. The court abandoned its long-running inquiry into claims that British troops committed crimes between 03 and 08. Obviously, I just thought, wow, that's like Tony Blair getting protected, Matt Hancock getting arrested. Yeah, of course. Madness.
Yeah, but why do you think they brought in that law? When was it? The act. It was either end of last year or beginning of this year, where they put a limited time stamp on war crimes or any MOD personnel. Because they knew this stuff was coming from, Iraq and all of this, and with what things are to come. They put after 5 years, apparently they can't be prosecuted anymore.
Statute of limitations.
Yep. As if, people couldn't see that one coming, what was coming.
They legally can murder, basically. They murder, which is they call manslaughter, and they've got all these bullshit rules and procedures and policies.
Yeah, but only James Bond can do that. That's why he's got a, what do they call it?
But down on the street...
a license to kill?
No, on the street we call it murder. We enforce, as I said, we would argue the rights there, and we would call it murder, and we can enforce it as murder. Not this particular instance, but the crimes that we see that they legally can try to fabricate into a legal realm is actually in the lawful realm a crime. So they do try, but once in a while we come back with some weaponage that they can't defend against.
How can it be a time stamp if you swear on the Bible in the court of law? None of that stuff applies except for whose law? Is you swearing it on what? So what do they say in the Bible?
keep hold of the book. This is the rule book. This is the rule book, is it?
Yeah, you even tell us to swear on it, so there we go. What does the other books mean? You go by that book. Oh, yeah, that's the one. The guy's name's Jeremy Narby. Max Verstappen. They do a good thing on the psychopaths. Tell you all about it. It's a good one to look up. The Way of the Warrior.
Ah. I'm just writing to YouTube, and we're going to get off in 10 minutes. I'm just doing an Edward Coke quotation. It's important as well. So we're giving them some treats here. I'm dropping in some bombs for them.
Okay. See if you can drop in that PDF I sent you.
No, it's YouTube. It's just chat. I can't. It's YouTube. Just chat. Sorry.
Okay, I'll do
Telegram.
it. I'll send it so you can.
For the last time, I've had enough. I'm burnt out.
Wireless
Kevin's on
60
rest.
gigahertz has a unique oxygen absorption property. This was done in 2001.
All
Where
right.
they state, in order to transmit the signal, they have to destroy the oxygen molecule to transmit it even further. Great. 60 gigahertz.
We have a public Telegram chat group. Kevin is on arrest, and he's on arrest till next year, and our public duties have been cancelled and taken away, rescinded. We're going into the private. We're pushing the evidence of life out for the 21st of the 12th. We're claiming our land and estate back with that, physical land, national trust. Anybody that wishes to partake with us and share files and chat and gab, we're about to drop. I'm approaching 50. My eyes are failing. The .com's in year 4 and on this December. So we've been here 4 years and it's been hard work. We're only just looking at going into the private by the skin of our teeth with the grace of the good Lord, creator, universe, and what you have done, your help. So you want to share files, you want to chat with us, then you go to that Telegram group. You come to the .com, you use Facebook, or you swap emails. I, for one, I'm very, very worn out, tired, pissed off, angry, and ready for a smoke down party and arrest on my own land. I yield.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. We want a workshop. We want magnets. We want copper. We want Soundwave in there. Claudio in there. Kevin in there. We're getting electric shocks. You know, get Steve in there. Anybody. You know, all of us go travel around. Diplomatic immunity. No vaccines for you. An ambassador, diplomat, witness. What could you also be? An apostle. You know, a disciple. You could be many things. A prophet. You can be. You can choose. To be fair, you can accept that commission or not. You can help be an executive of what we do. The choice is yours. You need to recognise the power that you have now, because soon, I believe, there will be no option to claim that. They're going to shut the doors on us biologically, physically, financially, spiritually, religiously, economically, and whatever else you want to add. It's coming. Klaus,
Terminator's coming.
Klaus, are you there? He's outside somewhere. Klaus.
Skynet's coming, people.
Klaus is coming soon, or something it is, but yeah.
Skynet's en route.
Yes, it's been good tonight. I've enjoyed this. It's been different, having Tube on and looking at your shiny faces on here. We'll do this again.
Shiny.
Sovereign shiny faces. Anders in the control room with his purple Sovereign hoodie. Go on, lad. Over in Sweden, representing. I love it.
I love it.
Brilliant.
Oh, I see what you mean now. You're saying that because you've ordered double XL, you look small in it because it's a large fit. I've got you. I can see it's nice and yeah, comfy.
So slow sometimes.
Bless him. God bless you all. Yeah, YouTube. We've had to. Go on, Kev.
I need an XL in purple, Dave. I have to sort out with you if you've got any.
Yeah, I'll get you one. We'll sort that out.
XL you need. Mine is the
I've got XXL on here, and then underneath I've got an XL.
Well, I'll put you all to shame, Dave. I need a 4XL. There we go. Mine's bigger.
I want to say to YouTube.
We might just have to staple one on the front of you, Lyndon.
quality of those things. You know? It's amazing.
Is it from hemp?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
He's having a moan up against that.
it's an advertising.
It's not hemp. No, they're just they're from.
It's full of the cotton, polyester, and everything else.
They're from Kevin's contact down in London, and he's called iTel Teas, and they're very good quality. We're very impressed with the price, the delivery, everything like that for a private setup. Very nice, yeah. Thank you for the link, Kevin, and thank you to a man called I can't. Perry. Yeah, there we go. Lee Scratch, man like Perry. Yes, I.
Perry Greenhill. Good man, good lad he is. For another friend of mine, Nigel Bourne or King Unruly at Unruly Records.
There he is.
Who's another mate of mine. That's where Perry was
Can't see it.
from.
I see your hand, Dave, not the ring.
Oh, look, I'm on YouTube.
No, you can't see Lyndon. He is working. Look, you can see him, Sen. Hey, just show him you. Hey, Sovereign. Yes, sir.
Just wave to myself.
The Blaster.
Most exciting things happened in my life this year.
You've still got a few days left.
Oh, don't.
Right. Look at this. I want to just say to Tube that it hasn't been personal, and I love you all very much. And it's been political. The reasons why we've gone quiet. We realised we were saying too much. We were saying things, and it wasn't going.
Things will be revealed where there's weirdness afoot.
They've been pushing the button again. He's saying what?
No, there's some real weirdness afoot at the moment, but we'll we're not going to say anything at this time till we investigate a bit more, but there's some real strangeness going on.
The safety is in the private.
It's just like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? This ain't right.
And the veils are getting thin.
No, it's just particularly with the platforms we use.
Oh, dropped up. Sorry, Tube. Be careful.
Yeah, lots of weirdness going on. As I say, we just I've not come across these sort of scenarios before. It's a bit like, what? How's that happened? So we just make some inquiries and see what we can.
That's easily done. Harp, DARPA, MK.
Madness.
Why don't they use the same platforms as them?
Well, that's it. As I say, there's just,
which platform isn't there? It's just which one's allowed.
I don't know. I've never been able to find you.
So they need a light, pure light. So has anyone got any sort of more info, clear pictures of the quantum computers, by the way? Because from what I've seen, or what it looks like, it looks like they're using crystals at the bottom of them. And if crystals are full of, as they say, knowledge, info, and light and energy, it's not surprising.
Well, we used to run.
don't know enough about it.
We used to have radios running on just crystals, didn't we, brother?
Crystal radios,
and then
that's
they had to stop that. We can't have free power. We can't have crystal power.
No, exactly.
What?
Can't have the peasants not paying, can we?
Batteries, meterage, yes. But quantum, I'd like to go and look at one. I'd like the trust to get one, us to have one in a private capacity, you know, in a common unity, and use that for the good of. But once again, it gets into the military industrial complex, has taken over the alphabet companies and billionaire tycoons such as the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Let's see if I can go from the top, which would be Bill Gates, not in this order, Bezos, Musk, Bezos, Gates, and who else we got there? There's somebody else that I say, but there is four. I did 5 yesterday, didn't I, Kevin, actually? Bezos, Gates, Musk, and anybody wants to help me out there with the billionaire tycoons that concern you. That's 3 of them. I told you I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Musk, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Bezos. That's 4, yeah. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Bezos, and Zuckerberg. That's your 4.
They're just the puppets.
Yeah.
Really. It's the people like the Astors.
So the ones you always see in the background.
It's all them families, the Rothschilds. Yeah, the Rothschilds. They're the bankers.
Shagging each other and it's sordid. It's horrid. They're all manipulated.
They've all rights to fuck the crown. That's what they did.
Yeah.
And from everything from Napoleon, like bringing in the surname. Didn't realise that. Oh my days.
The surety name.
That's it, you see. Yeah, I got all the way to episode, I think it was 13. That came on, and that was it. I had to open a can of Stella.
One of those moments. Oh my God,
mate, yeah. It's like one of them, like a light came on. I wouldn't believe.
Would you
The deeper you go.
Once the doors open, and then you start really seeing how the whole shit show works, and it's fucking does your head in.
Oh yeah, but it's like when the door opens, I don't gently go down the stairs. I fucking went head first, straight down.
do it proper?
I'm still good. The one that still gets me the most these days, I keep going back to it, is the universal thing when you start seeing the local one, the local lights with the clouds behind it. That still blows me away. And when you see that live, then you're like, what?
Right, it's
94 million miles away? Not.
we've done 2 hours, fam, and I'd like to say to Lynn, to Kevin, to Steve, to Anders, Barney, and who else have I got? Missed anybody out? Anders, Barney, Steve, Kev.
Michelle, don't forget Michelle.
That's why I said it. There we go.
Get out of picture.
You see. Much love to you. Do you want to say goodbye and ciao and good night? And we will be back soon. If anybody on Tube wants to come onto the panel, we can hold 100. Yeah, I hate to say 100 for the pro.
Come on, I just got to get a big telly. Thanks everybody for joining us. Steve, good seeing your face, mate, and chatting. Nice one. Keep yourself cool. We'll all come out in the wash and all the rest of it. Much love to everybody. Really appreciate it. Everybody listening on YouTube. Much love, Albert. I see you in there. Good to see you in the dark recesses of the videos earlier. Yeah. Good night, everybody, and much love. Thank you very much.
Good night, brother. Kevin, all the best to you, eh?
Thanks, Cardio, mate. I'll have a look at you. I know you sent me over an email. I haven't had a look, but I will give you
I was just saying hello and hope you feel better, brother.
Yeah, no, that's cool, brother. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's just been it's all come on top of it.
All too will pass.
You were saying you were feeling it. I'm feeling it.
This too will pass.
Yes, absolutely, it will. Just took the wind out of my sails quite desperately from sort of nowhere, out of left field, but you're right, I've been there before.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yep. And thanks, everybody. Awesome show.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I'll send it separately, yes.
Good night, guys.
Anders, where was that?
Good night, everyone.
All the best to you, Anders. Take it easy, mate. Barney, Michelle. I've got the around. I've got to change screens. It's all good. All right. Yeah, have a great week. Soon. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I better call you, Dave.
Right, I'm just going to end the Tube then. See you, Tube. Thank you. We love you. God bless. Ciao, bello. And we'll see you soon. You know where to find us. There we go.